If you can hear me, will you please say something in the comments so that so that I know that you can hear me? We're having some microphone issues. Is it working? Nobody's saying anything. I don't think anybody can hear me. I'm going to write a note. Oh, it says I can't hear you. We hear you now, Gay. Okay. Okay, good. I hope everybody can hear me. I'm going to keep talking until you tell me that you can't hear me. I'm not entirely sure. Oh, good. Hey, Jeffrey, see you in there. Um, Again, I'm going to start why I decided to run for office. Long story short, my family has been through some serious trauma. My husband was diagnosed with ALS in 2020, just as COVID was hitting, starting. And 6 months after that, my 8-year-old perfectly normal son was diagnosed with a terminal brain tumor. And I quit doing everything activism and quit doing political stuff, quit doing everything to take care of my family. I was both of their full-time caregiver until each of them took their last breath. I know the pain of losing my family, but also all the things that came along after that, all the bills and all of the insurance companies not caring that I was grieving. Um, and I finally put my foot down and said, what am I going to do about this world? And I decided to run for office. Matt Gaetz was the representative in this district at the time, and it was almost on cue that Matt Gaetz filed a federal stand your ground bill. And when he filed stand your ground in Florida, our gun homicide rate went up 32%. And so I couldn't see that happening nationally. And I wanted to make sure that the most competent person was challenging Matt Gaetz on this very issue. And I felt like that was me. So I had a fire in my belly from my toes to my head and said, I'm going to run for office. I ran against Matt Gaetz. I lost by 30 points. But as expected, 8 days later, he resigned from office. And then we went directly into the special election. And here comes Jimmy Petronis from the next district over. And we mounted an amazing campaign. During the special election, we narrowed our gap from a R plus 37 district to an R plus 14, narrowing our gap by 22 points. I turned Escambia County blue for the first time in 30 years, and we made some strides. This year, we have more Democratic candidates running than ever before on the Panhandle in District 1, and I am so proud of that fact. That's a little bit about who I am. But let's get into your questions. Let me read some of your questions. Hold on just a second. Let me look. The first question is from Janet. Who else is running in your district? You're in my district, so I'll definitely be voting for you. Thank you, Janet. I really appreciate it. But I was wondering who else is running. So there is Jimmy Petronis that is running. He is the incumbent. And then there's Douglas Chico, John Frankman, who are both Republicans. And then there is Tyler Davis, she is an MPA. And I don't know much about her, but we have emailed back and forth, and we're going to meet and talk about our vision for District 1. So I'm excited about that. People have asked me, what does the Republican primary look like? How are you feeling? I'm not entirely sure um, how the Republicans are feeling about their incumbent or how they're feeling about their new candidates. All I know is I'm going to run against whoever comes out on the other side, and do it with dignity and pride. Let's see. The next question that we got. Do you intend to get our teachers paid better? We are 50th in the country for teacher pay from Jerry. Jerry, absolutely. We are actually dead last in the country in teacher pay. My mother and father were both public school educators. My father taught for 36 years. He was a band director. My mother taught PE and physical science. She taught for 42 years. So I've spent my entire career in a public school building. And uh, I know what it's like to be the kid of a teacher. That's how I kind of ended up in Pensacola. My grandparents managed a hotel out on the beach in the late 60s and early 70s when I was a tiny, tiny child. And if we ever wanted to vacation, we had to come to Pensacola because my parents were public school educators and coming to Pensacola was free. Our teachers deserve dignity. Our teachers give their world to their students. I always had to compete with 30 different students every year for my parents' attention because that's how our public school educators are with their children. We have great teachers in Florida. They deserve to be paid, and they deserve to be able to teach without all the culture wars involved. So absolutely, I will always support our teachers. And on the federal level, public school education is only 10% funded by the federal government, which is typically Title I schools and special programs. I suggest that the federal government should put in 20%, and that we fund every program that we possibly can to make our schools great. Because if we don't educate our children who are going to be controlling this earth long after we're gone, then we're in trouble. The best thing we can do is set our children up for success, and that means a good, free public school education. We've had some problems in Florida with our voucher program, and the money coming in and going out and being taken away from our public schools. And that is significantly um, causing our schools to have problems with money and our teachers not having the things that they need to teach. We need to pay our teachers and we need to fund our schools. I'm trying to get through these because there's a ton of questions. So let's see. um, let's see. Peggy watching live on Facebook says, "So excited for you for your running for Congress. Be sure to donate, y'all. Everybody, donate if you can. Um, Raising money is the worst part of this job. Worst part of running for Congress. Worst part of running for any office. If you have a couple bucks, extra couple bucks, that's how we raise money. In the last election, I was able to raise $9.8 million, but it's because me and Josh Will were the only thing happening in the entire country. This time around, I'm competing with people from all over the country. And so I need for my local people to come up in a big way and support me. Let's see. Next, from Alice. Where do you stand on women's rights? As your constituent, I want to know that you'll loudly and proudly support initiatives backing our rights. Alice, absolutely. I know that our body is ours to control. I know that women are smart and savvy and can make decisions on their own, and we don't need the government in our lives, in our bodies, or in our bedrooms. And that is true of so many things in the culture wars that we have taken on in the state of Florida in the last 8 years. Our right to choose is our right with our medical professional and your family. That is your right to choose. It is not the government's right to tell you what to do with your body at any point. And I will always support a woman's right to choose. Let's see, question from YR Nessa. In our area, we're fighting data centers. Some talk about restrictions and secondary power grids. We don't want any data centers at all. Will you prevent data centers from coming to our district? Absolutely, I will do what I can in my capacity as your federal as your federal representative in Congress. But most recently, I went to a county commissioners meeting in Escambia County, where there were 30 people lined up, both sides of the aisle, Democrats, Republicans, everybody, um, speaking out about the data centers. Now, for those of you that are not too savvy on what's going on with data centers, so they want to bring in these big AI data centers, and they are selling them to communities, so that they're saying that we're going to employ 2,000 people to make these data centers, and that's absolutely not true. They will hire 200 people to build the data center, and then there will be 30 people to manage the data center. And these data centers use an abnormal amount of water and electricity to make them work. The water is to cool them, and the water goes back into our aquifer, with and it's polluted water. We already have a problem with our aquifer on the Panhandle because of all of our military bases, that we're trying to work with control and make sure that our water is better. And if we put data centers in, that just means that we're adding an extra layer on. Now, there are some other things about data centers that are absolutely unattractive. Part of that is, um, the your electric bill could go up by 2 or 3 times because the demand on what the data center would need. They put them right in the middle. Oh, look, Dion Carroll. Dion Carroll's on here. I went to high school with him. Hey, Dion. Um, uh, Data centers are bad. They also have a constant hum for the 1 mile radius around the data center, so it's a constant hum. And there have been, and the truth of the matter is we don't know what data centers will do. And so we're not gonna have them in Escambia County. Walton County has already said that they don't want them, and they have banned them. We need Okaloosa and Santa Rosa counties to do the same. I would suggest to everybody that you make your way to a county commissioner meeting, and I will do everything I can on the federal level to make sure that we regulate data centers. But contacting your county commissioners and your state representatives, because those are the people that give the permission for the plot of land. All right, let's see the next question. I hope that answered your question. And if not, y'all please comment in the comment section. Okay. From Amy. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. Can you tell us where and how we can donate again? Yes, you can go to gayforcongress.com. You can watch my awesome commercial that comes up immediately. It's hilarious. It's a commercial that I wanted to make a commercial that kind of made everybody laugh, and not the typical political commercial that people hear, and that is filled with hate and vitriol. I made a welcome to the district Jimmy Petronas video, that I think is pretty funny, but poignant in that he does not live here. Um, Once you watch my video, then you can click on the link, to donate. It is an ActBlue link. All right. Let's see. Amy Lott. When you're elected, will you support the Healthcare Fairness for Military Families Act, which gives military families the same rights and protections with respect to the healthcare as civilian families? Yes. So for those of you that don't know what the Healthcare Fairness for Military Families Act, it is an act that says that you can keep your kids on your health care past age 21, and you can keep them on your health care if they're 23, but in school full time. Now, civilians get to keep their children on their health care until they're 26. What this act does is make sure that military families get the same privileges in being able to keep their kids on their health care. So absolutely, I will support that. And I am looking really hard to be on the Armed Services Committee, and work for our military, our active duty military, and our vets when I get there. Next question. What are your feelings on the future of Social Security? I'm 60, and I've been working for 47 years. Um, we're going to keep Social Security. People live on Social Security. I think that um, our federal government and the people that are running our federal government now think that Social Security is pennies to some of them. But my mother relies on her Social Security to live. She's 81 years old. And just as many people do. That is your money. That is the money that you paid the government while you worked. And 47 years is a long time, Peggy. And I can guarantee you that I will fight tooth and nail to keep Social Security and to strengthen it. I think that part of the problem is, and what's happening right now, is that we're not working on strengthening our Social Security. We're talking about how it's dwindling. That's what the whole thing has been recently about how our Social Security money is dwindling. You're not going to have Social Security in 20 to 30 years. That is true if we don't take action on it now. And we certainly, if we elect a Democratic Congress, we will. Conservative circle. My question is how can you help students if elected? Students in that I'm not sure if you're talking about college students or high school students. College students are a very different animal. They are looking at affordability in a different way than high school students. I think the best thing I can do for high school students is to make sure that we stop fighting culture wars and fund our schools. Um, the best thing I can do for our college students is make sure that they have a future country to move into where they have opportunity to own a house, where they have opportunity to save some money, where they have opportunity to pay their school loans off, to make school more affordable for our college students. Those are the things that we can do to make students more comfortable in life. Let's see. Debbie, Debbie's, Debs. Our vets deserve so much more. Absolutely, our vets deserve so much more. From the beginning, I have said that I want to build a full service VA hospital for our vets in this district. Many people don't know this, but we have the most concentration of vets of any other district in Florida and the second in the country. We have more vets here than San Diego. We have more vets here than most places in the world, most places in the country, and we don't have a full service VA hospital. And by that, I mean, we have an outstanding clinic both at NAS and at Eglin. They see as many patients as they can in a timely fashion, in as timely a fashion as they can do. We have great healthcare providers. What we need is more of them and more services. What we need are full-time mental health care professionals, and we need a lot of them on our bases, both for active duty and both for our veterans. I don't believe that as a 75-year-old veteran or 70 or 80-year-old veteran that you should have to drive to Biloxi for major surgery or to Jacksonville. I have an 81-year-old mother. I know how impossible that is. I believe that we should take care of our own right here because so many people come up to me and tell me, I was in the military and I moved around and I started here and I went there but I ended up back in this district because it's so beautiful and perfect. And I agree with that. But we we have a promise to our veterans to take care of them when they come back after they have served their time and sacrificed their life for ours. They deserve, at the very least, health care. And that's what we can provide with a full service VA. I'm going to need about $40 million to do that. And I am currently searching for ways in the federal government to do that. Obviously, we have a lot of money that the government says we don't have if we have $1 billion a day to spend on an endless war. Let's see, Brady. Happy Pride Month. Happy Pride Month, Brady. East Hill Cleaning on TikTok said, I wonder why Jimmy Petronis won't go live. Well, because he won't be able to answer questions because he has not done much to tout. I can tell you that I'll tell you two things about Jimmy Petronis. One thing is that he has spent his time in this seat deciding that he wants to pass a bill to legalize machine guns. Machine guns were banned or prevented from being distributed and manufactured in 1986. There was an amendment signed. Jimmy Petronis has challenged that and decided to get rid of this amendment so that gun manufacturers can start making machine guns again, which I think in ordinary times, if you're pandering to the gun lobby, then that's one thing. But in these times right now, when people are struggling to pay bills, when people are struggling to buy food, purchase medication, choosing between a car payment and medication or sleeping in their car because they can't afford gas to get back and forth to work, I believe that that is a waste of time. But one good thing that Jimmy Petronis has done is that this week he voted in favor of the 21st Century Road to Housing Act, which is a bipartisan bill that has passed the Senate and now has passed the House, and waiting on President Trump to sign the bill into law. Today, he announced that he will not sign it into law until the SAVE Act is passed. And so he has 10 days to sign it. If you haven't looked up the 21st Century Road to Housing Act, please take a look at it. It will solve a lot of our problems right now with affordable housing. It increases inventory, building more houses at and cheaper than they would have been, and gets the corporate ghouls under control and coming in and buying up houses and apartments and inflating the worth. It is an excellent piece of legislation that should be passed and should be signed into law right this minute. Let's see. Do you feel you can appeal to Patronus supporters by emphasizing areas of common ground? Absolutely. And I did not see this question before I commented that Jimmy voted on a piece of legislation that I support. I believe there are a lot of things that we can agree on. We can agree that groceries and gas are too expensive. We can agree that the Epstein files should be released and that the people that are responsible should be held accountable. We should agree that we need to get out of this war so that life becomes more affordable for most people. We can agree on a lot of things. I tell Democrats all the time, leave here and go talk to 10 people that don't agree with you. Don't argue with them. Don't scream, because Democrats are just as bad as Republicans and not understanding the other side. I tell them to pull a thread, start a conversation, and find one thing that you can get behind or that you can agree on. Whether that is data centers or flock cameras or or the environment. There's some thread that we can all pull that we can agree on. And once we pull that one thread and we start having a conversation, I believe we can have way more productive conversations than calling each other names. Rick said, "Thank you for being all over our district every week, meeting with the voters." I am. So I have been at lots of events lately. We have done, this weekend will be our sixth Juneteenth event on Saturday. And where are we going to be? This Saturday is in Defuniak Springs. We will be in Defuniak Springs this weekend. I hope you'll come and join us. It will be fun. The next weekend is that the 4th of July? 4th of July weekend, and we'll be in Crestview. So we are all over the district. And you can always stop by our office in Pensacola. It is at the corner of 9th Avenue and La Rua, right across the street from the Hot Spot Barbecue. We are always here. And come get your yard sign. Put it in your yard. Let's see, where are we now? Oh, shirts? Okay. I'm not from Florida's first district, but I really hope you win. um, you're a breath of fresh air. Thank you. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you so much. When you're in Washington, what will be your day one priorities? So I have told people from the beginning, from the first time that I ever spoke, when I was running against Matt Gaetz, the first thing that I will do in Congress, and all the Democrats are like, you're going to hold Trump accountable. That's going to be the first thing you do. The first thing I'm going to do is pass the John Lewis Voting Rights Act. People, and if you hear nothing else I say tonight, this is what I want you to hear. If we do not have our right to vote and to put into office the people that we elect, we have no say. We can talk about women's rights, we can talk about Social Security, we can talk about Medicare, Medicaid, and we can talk about the war in Iran. But if we don't have a vote, we have no say. So without a doubt, the John Lewis Voting Rights Act will be the first thing I do in Congress. Let's see. All right. So it's 7 o'clock, y'all. I can't believe it went by that fast. I'm so sorry that, um, let's see. Did I get to everybody's questions, Michaela? Okay, great. Great. So everybody, we're going to do this every week. I want you to jump on, give me your questions, give me your hard questions, things that you think that other people want to hear about. I would be more than happy to talk about. You can go to gay4congress.com and check out my priorities, check out everything I'm about, but also just Google me. Just Google me and see what I've done in my life and know that I care about this district. Whether I win or not, I'm going to be here making things better for my neighbors. And that is the entirety of the Panhandle. So thank you, everybody. If you're on the Panhandle, please go vote for me, support me, come and knock doors with us, help us make phone calls. If you're not on the Panhandle, come help us make phone calls. You can certainly do that. And we have T-shirts in the office, so come and buy your T-shirts from us. And if you come in and do a couple of turfs and knock on doors, we'll give you a T-shirt. Thank you, everybody, for your time. If I didn't get to your question tonight, or if you have a question, please comment below and we will get to it next week. Thanks so much, y'all. Bye, y'all.